Hello and welcome to another episode of Cannonball Diva Chronicles. I'm Cannonball Diva. I'm a nurse practitioner and an ICU nurse, and I have some experience in narcissistic personality traits and also recovery. I'd like to discuss today how to keep no contact from the narcissist. Please stay tuned.
Soundstripe.
Going no contact means that the narcissist attempts to get back with one of the victims or the victims that have managed to escape them or run away or change their address or change their phone number is unsuccessful. The narcissist's main goal when their victims decide to leave them is to hover around them, which means that the narcissist continuously tries to contact them either by phone, by email, by going to their house or their apartment or wherever they live, or to send people to them. Many of these narcissists do not like the word no. They do not take no for an answer. And when their victims continually tell them they are no longer interested, in the mind of the narcissist, they will be able to cajole them or influence them or convince them to come back to them. So they hoover in whatever or any way they think possible or necessary to get their victims back into their trap. As much as a narcissist tries to get their victims back to where they once were, under their thumb, under their control, in a very vicious cycle of abuse, it now becomes the victim's role to avoid them as much as possible. The victim may decide to block them on the phone, or decide not to let them know where they live if they move to a different address, or to let them know if they change a number or what the new number is. The victim's role is to avoid the narcissist's approach as much as possible. Because once the narcissist is able to resume contact on a regular basis, eventually the abuse cycle will continue. The narcissist would like their main supply, who usually is the main partner in their life, because as I mentioned in the past, the narcissist always has several other supplies or several other girlfriends or boyfriends around, lurking in the corners somewhere. So the narcissist does not like to lose their main supply, who for years they have abused and who for years they have gotten very much major supply from, which could be the person's lower self-esteem, the person's lack of confidence, the person coming to a point in their life where they're no longer ambitious or hardworking and who have probably given up on life in general and just listen to the narcissist and take all of their yelling, all of the accusations, all of their malicious lies, all of their maltreatment and mistreatment. That usually becomes the main supply for the narcissist. When the main supply of the narcissist wakes up one day and decides enough is enough and they need their freedom, the narcissist usually goes berserk. It is very important for the victim not to let the narcissist know of their plans to leave them permanently. Many narcissists become very violent, both physically, emotionally, and their true self, and the mask is revealed. The mask the narcissist wears is an evil one, which shows their true character trait, which is usually considered to be demonic. There's a common saying by someone that says, when the devil cannot get you, he sends a narcissist. The narcissist is a main and big messenger of the devil himself. They do the work of the devil by doing all the evil things that the devil himself cannot do physically, like cheating, lying, stealing, abusing, being unfair, hating, being malicious in their actions against innocent victims. The Bible tells us that where there's light, darkness cannot dwell, because darkness cannot comprehend the light. The light of God, obviously, is the opposite to the darkness of the devil. But the devil continually tries in every way possible to copy what God himself has done. From the book of the Bible, it tells us that when God created something, the devil tries to create the opposite. God is not a worldly God. He does not believe in material possessions. He dwells far above what is material. But the devil loves material possession just like the narcissist does. And when the devil offered God on top of the mountain all of the wealth and said, if you bow before me, I will give you all of the wealth before you. And I will give you everything that you see before you. He was trying to tempt God with material things, because that is what matters to the devil, and that is what matters to narcissists as well, material possessions. And they will do whatever it takes to get their hands on things, be it unfairly or otherwise, just to get narcissistic supply. In the form of praise, admiration, people looking up to them and thinking that they're so lucky to have all that they have, no matter how they gain that wealth or those material possessions. The victim then would be better off staying away from the narcissist and not going back to them. Because once the narcissist hoovers and keeps hoovering, and the victim eventually falls victim by going back, they are going back to a worse condition than they were in the past before they decided to leave. That is something many victims do not realize. They believe that the narcissist has changed and that this new behavior of begging, pleading, loving, cajoling is their new method of approach. They do not believe that the narcissist would actually turn around and do to them things that are 10 times worse than they ever did in the past. So it is a very good idea for the victim, once they have left, never ever to think about going back to the narcissist. Once the narcissist gets their hands on the victims after no contact was established, especially for a lengthy time, what the narcissist then decides to do now is to tighten the reins and the strings around the victim to say, you escaped once, I'll make sure you never get to escape again, no matter what it takes. The narcissist does not like the feeling they get once their victims leave them. They go into their shell and begin to hate themselves 10 times worse than they did, because they believe now that the victim has shown them who they truly are, that they are worthless people, and that is why the victims left them. They suffer narcissistic abuse when they're victims, especially when their main victim, the main supply, decides to leave and establish no contact. The narcissist has a great sense of self-loathing, a sense of self-hatred that becomes even more amplified with the leaving of their main victims. If the victims were to go back, the narcissist would treat them 10 times as worse than they did before and tighten the reins around them to make sure that they never get to escape again. Some narcissists even go as far as threatening or even harming physically their victims to ensure that they never ever escape. They make sure that their victims are kept under their reins forever while they live a free and lavish lifestyle. I remember an incident, the one I mentioned before, when I was chased out of the house with my children and I went into the car to hide. I heard the narcissist saying, one of the things he said was, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. Where is she? In my mind, I thought about it. Ready to die over what? Ready to die that I found you out and I threatened to leave you. And I gave you back your ring and said I wasn't ready to be married to you. That was what he said. After all the maltreatment And after all the dishonesty and the cheating, when someone gets tired and says something like that to the narcissist, that they're going to leave them, even when they haven't actually left, that is enough to cause a narcissistic injury. At that point, I was saying what I said out of anger and frustration, with all the cheating and the signs of dishonesty and infidelity I'd seen. And I made that statement because I actually was tired, but I hadn't physically left. But that was enough to cause a major narcissistic injury to this person. And that was the result of it. That statement they made was the result of that. When people talk about violence in relationships and violence that are committed in the crime of passion, many of the perpetrators of these crimes are narcissists because they'd rather see their partners die than leave them. They do not care if they were in the wrong. All they care about at that point is their partners will not leave them. They'd rather continue to cheat, maltreat, berate, treat their partners like animals and expect their partners to continue to swallow it and take it and like it and stay there and not leave. They do not ever consider changing their own ways or compromising to enable the victim live a better life with them, because there's no such thing as living a good life with a narcissist. Their good life is based on the suffering of their victims. That is what brings joy to the narcissist. Seeing their victims suffering is what gives them the supply that enables them to have a joyful life. So their joy is based on the pain of their victims. Like I mentioned before, God and the devil are complete opposites. God gives love. God is love. God wants love to be shared abroad to all mankind, even the wicked. The devil wants pain, anguish, and suffering to be spread abroad to mankind. And that is exactly the wish and desire of the narcissist. Maintaining no contact is doable, but it can be a little bit difficult. It takes perseverance. It takes dedication and focus. It takes being strong-willed and working hard for your own financial health and well-being. Becoming a dependent to the narcissist is one of the worst things that you could ever do, because you've given over your entire existence to them by doing so. It's a common knowledge that the partner you choose in your life is what could make you or break you. One of the most important, if not the most important decision one makes in life is the partner they choose. I've heard that over and over in many circles and in research. The partner you choose in life determines how your life will turn out. Because many people, after having a narcissistic or wicked spouse or a toxic relationship, can't get back on their feet. They become single parents if they have children, or they become so destabilized in every sense and they lose all hope if they do not have God. It's many of the people who are able to stand are those that still have God in their life and who have a strong support system in the way of family members and loved ones around them. So I would employ and ask and suggest that victims continue to have those support systems around them. Most importantly, a spiritual support, and if possible, a spiritual guide, be it in the way of a pastor or even somebody that has experience in the therapeutic measures that can be taken by a victim who has come out of narcissistic abuse. There are many of them out there nowadays, but I don't know how expensive they are, but they're available out there. Having supportive family members also helps a lot. People who won't judge you and make you feel you made the wrong choice by leaving the narcissist. I'll end it today, and I hope that my teachings and my suggestions are making a difference in the life of anyone going through signs or any kind of narcissistic trait in their partner. Know that you are able to overcome it, and know that you need to be very strategic in your movements and your actions in order to get out of it with joy and peace in the end. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Take care and God bless. And thank you for tuning into Cannibal Diva Chronicles. Have a blessed day.